Coming up on the Good Morning Show, the Florida governor ready to deliver his State of the State address as the 2025 legislative session begins today. We have a preview of what you can expect.
Plus, should mining be allowed in Georgia's largest swamp? Lawmakers dealing with that question and more.
Trusted, local. The WCTV Good Morning Show starts now.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning.
I'm going to get to say Okefenokee pretty soon.
It's
one of my favorite words.
Well, and our producer knew to give it to you, not me, because
fair.
I would have been coughing out the
We'll be
syllables.
talking Okefenokee in a little while. Very nice. I guess session starts today.
It's a busy Tuesday.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on this time of year.
Yeah.
Rob, we were blessed with a beautiful weekend.
Day.
Yesterday ended up being a beautiful day.
I cut grass yesterday.
Yeah, which
I
is
cut
great.
a lot of grass
Did you break
yesterday.
a sweat while you were
Of course I did.
Yeah, it was kind of hot out there.
It was a little toasty.
Yeah.
We're at that point during the year, and I hope you get your yard stuff taken care of today. It's going to get breezy. We've got some storms to talk about. Lots going on out there with the weather forecast. Currently, the temperature's fairly pleasant, not nearly as chilly out there this morning as it was yesterday. Most of us are going to be someplace near 50 degrees. I think we're going to find highs closer to 75, maybe even a little warmer than that, depending on how much sunshine we hang on to and how quickly the clouds accumulate today, and those clouds should be accumulating today. We're also going to be talking about that breeze, which will be absolutely noticeable throughout the day and night. Now, as far as the temperatures right now, Monticello and Quincy are at 52, Thomasville's at 48, Bainbridge at 49. It's 50 degrees in Madison County. It's 54 at the Tallahassee Airport. And check out Apalachicola, where it's 62 this morning. We'll talk about that breeze. Manageable now. For the most part, below 10 miles per hour, and from the east, going to turn more southeast and south today. Going to perk up and likely be in that 8 to 18 mile per hour range. We've got a wind advisory for all of our Georgia counties and areas in Florida on the other side of the Apalachicola River. That's for wind sustained in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range and gusts that could get up near 40 miles per hour. Now, just because your county might not be in the advisory doesn't mean it's not going to be breezy. It's going to be breezy across the board today, tonight, and tomorrow as we wait for this line of showers to get here. It's got a history of some dangerous stuff through parts of Texas and southern Oklahoma. A lot of the dangerous stuff should stay west and move north, but I can't rule out a couple of bigger storms around here tomorrow morning. Lots to break down with that forecast. We'll get there in just a couple of minutes.
This morning, Governor Ron DeSantis is expected to give his State of the State address, ushering in the start of the 2025 legislative session. Lawmakers will consider nearly 2,000 proposals over the next 60 days. House Democrats highlighted 6 priorities yesterday they hope the Republican supermajority will take up during the regular session. Those priorities include education investments, expanding Medicaid, promoting responsible gun ownership, and protecting the state's water.
Even though in this hyper-partisan environment, it's unlikely that any of these bills would get a hearing, it's totally possible that some of these concepts might work their way into legislation that does move. The other thing is that
everything's on the table. If there's a potential solution that can solve for that problem, even if it's a small amount that it can solve for, at least we're moving in the right direction. We're going to consider that here in the House.
Governor DeSantis' State of the State will happen during a joint session in the House chamber at 11 a.m. So now, among the bills lawmakers will consider, it covers a wide range of topics from illegal immigration to election reforms. Increasing teacher salaries will also be up for discussion, and well as changing the statutory definition of a school bus. Workplace safety is also being considered. The legislature will have 60 days to fulfill its constitutional obligation, which is to pass a balanced budget.
Georgia, a new bill is gaining traction that would allow newborn safety devices, or baby boxes, onto the sides of fire stations. Officials say these baby boxes are temperature-controlled boxes with a door on the inside and outside, which allow you to surrender your newborn and stay anonymous. Right now, the bill is stuck in the Rules Committee. Advocates for it are working on a light pressure campaign to get the chairman to bring it for a vote. And Georgia lawmakers are also trying to legalize sports betting again. A bill was introduced just days before the deadline for legislation. If 2/3 of the House votes yes on it, the question of legal online sports betting would go to voters in 2026 as a referendum and would only need a simple majority to pass. Some lawmakers say it's an exciting opportunity to fund early education. However, people opposed say it'll stoke gambling addiction.
This is an effort to rein in what is rampantly going on right now, put safeguards around it, put guardrails on it.
It's going to be putting gasoline on a dumpster fire that's already burning in our state. Why do we want to make it worse?
Now, the sponsors say a portion of revenue from online sports betting would also go towards responsible gambling programs to help combat addiction. And Georgia lawmakers are also pushing for protections to stop or delay mining near the state's Okefenokee Swamp.
So the swamp is one of the world's largest freshwater ecosystems. Easy for me to say. Abby Kasora spoke with the people who live and work around the swamp.
In the heart of South Georgia, you'll find the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, spanning 400,000 acres. Each year, more than 400,000 people visit the swamp. Tourism, the economic driver for the surrounding counties.
Is there any objection to the
Reverend Antoine Nixon trading the idyllic paradise to advocate on behalf of it at the state capitol.
We were called to stewardship in the book of Genesis. When Adam was called to till and to maintain the Garden of Eden, and Okefenokee to me is like a special place like this.
Mining companies eyeing the mineral-rich Trail Ridge. Like the lip of a bathtub, Trail Ridge, a natural barrier holding water in the swamp. Rena Peck with Georgia River Network fears messing with Trail Ridge would mess up the swamp's equilibrium.
There's times when we have to cancel our trips because the water's so low.
House Representative Darlene Taylor sponsoring two bills. One, a compromise bill, a 5-year moratorium on mining. The other, known as the Okefenokee Protection Act, would ban mining on Trail Ridge.
I'm just here to advocate for objectiveness, private property rights. Everybody should have their day to be heard.
Drew Jones, Charlton County Commissioner, arguing in favor of mining. This summer, he showed us the county's shuttered hospital, saying the county's tax digest is in desperate need of a boost.
And our problems remain. We have local needs. People want longer library hours. We got broken sidewalks or trip hazards. We've got all these local needs. We're
nearing crossover day, which is a crucial midway point. These mining bills will need a vote by the committee and a vote in the House, or else they'll effectively be done and can only be taken up next year. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kosoris.
In national news, the Department of Education temporarily removes the online applications for income-driven repayment plans. This comes after a U.S. Court of Appeals blocked the agency from implementing former President Biden's Saving on a Valuable Education plan. The department needs to review the application forms to determine what needs to change following the court's ruling. Senate Democrats blocked a Republican-led bill to ban transgender athletes from women's sports at federally funded schools and educational institutes. So the House passed its own version of this bill in January, but without Senate approval, the legislation is stalled. Tonight, President Donald Trump is set to give his first speech before a joint gathering of Congress since taking office for the second time.
Yeah, White House officials are teasing that the president will discuss several topics, including the economy, immigration, and Ukraine. CBS's Natalie Brand has more.
Weeks into a whirlwind second term in office, President Trump will address Congress and the country with the economy in focus. It comes on the day 25% tariffs went in effect overnight on the nation's two biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico.
It's a very powerful weapon.
U.S. stocks slid sharply Monday, with economists warning that the price of everything from food to lumber to new cars could go up.
There is little doubt that consumers will feel the pain of this.
Yesterday, the president teased he'll also discuss Ukraine, days after his Oval Office clash with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
You don't have the cards.
CBS News has confirmed the White House has paused military aid to Ukraine, even as President Trump pushes for a peace deal with Russia and an economic agreement to mine Ukraine's earth minerals.
I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal.
President Trump's domestic agenda is expected to be front and center tonight, including stepped-up immigration enforcement and sweeping efforts to shrink the size of the federal government.
White House officials say billionaire Elon Musk will be among the guests in the room amid growing anger over mass federal worker firings and cuts advocated through the Department of Government Efficiency.
When did Elon Musk get the power?
Several congressional Democrats say they're split over whether or not to attend. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin will deliver their party's formal response. Natalie Brand, CBS News.
Still to come on the Good Morning Show, another race around the world kicks off tomorrow. Well, you can't miss the 37th season of The Amazing Race.
All right, our forecast gets a little bumpy over the next 24 hours. Today is about the increasing clouds and that breeze. This time tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about some pretty big storms. Got lots to break down. We'll do the full forecast